I'm not saying he's a slut, but when he douches, he uses a ladle. Hi! Welcome to my downward spiral. This pandemic is like my prescription for lithium, on constant repeat. My name is Reuben Kaye, actress, model, and the man who coined the phrase viral sensation before the internet existed. It's like I always say, I may be sexually inadequate, but I'm also emotionally unavailable too. Welcome to Unwind, the guided meditation for the end of the world, the only guided meditation with a wine pairing. Tonight's wine is here, and it's in a bottle, and it has alcohol. At this stage, I would drink a fucking sledgehammer if you put it in front of me. I don't know what this wine is called, but by the way it smokes when I dropped a copper penny in it, I'd say it's a blend of Shiraz and battery acid. This wine goes best with a strong cheese, a strong stomach, or a shotgun to the face, because after drinking this, I'm pretty sure I'll be left with just a neck. So let's dive in, because we've got a lot to get through tonight. First, find your happy place. Does anyone remember what that is? Did you put it somewhere safe and forget all about it? Did you lock it in the car on a hot day with the windows up? Did you ever really have one? Or was it all an illusion that we only used for Instagram likes while we claimed wokeness and hid how shallow and self-absorbed we actually are? White people posting videos singing "Stand By Me," I'm looking at you. So let's breathe in and out, and in and out, and drink up and in and out. Just be in a constant state of flow, like my grandfather after his prostate went, or me after any meal at Taco Bell's. And as the breath fills you with warming energy or some shit, cast your mind back to the world you've experienced and the stresses you've taken on this week. Fuck me, it's a lot. So take a sip and let's dive in, because she's angry tonight. The Xanax didn't even touch the sides, but if we're telling the truth, what does anymore? Our first stop is gay male Instagrammers throughout the world who are continuing their trend of taking the most serious of subjects and making it about their own blatant narcissism by posting a flood of thirsty nudes featuring themselves on their knees with the caption "Take a knee" and hashtagging Black Lives Matter and George Floyd. I wish I could say I'm surprised, but sadly the ability for gay men to be so self-absorbed that they think the world needs more white flesh taking up space right now is very much on brand for our own blatant systematic narcissism and own lack of self-awareness, inflated self-worth / body dysmorphic damage. And it's sad, because for most of these guys, the only knee they've taken is to blow a drug dealer called Spike for a spare cap of G to fill the gaping hole inside them at Perth Fringe Festival. Not talking from my own experience. So, if you see a post like this by any of the Callums, Shauns or Todds of Instagram, if a friend posts one, let them know. It's up to us to clean up our own mess now. Or, if you don't have the energy, tag me. I'll educate a bitch. Consider it my own version of giving back, which is rare for a bottom. Breathe in and fuck off. Donald Trump, the only man who felt Mein Kampf would have been better with illustrations because he found it too wordy, is continuing the tradition of all great leaders by showing panic, paranoia, and issuing nonsensical rants from a secret bunker as he loses support throughout the country. He's declared that Antifa, a political protest movement that opposes extreme right-wing ideologies, is a terrorist organisation. So, just so we're clear, a fascist president has deemed the opposition of fascism as an act of terrorism, before tear-gassing peaceful crowds and threatening martial law and declaring himself the saviour of the United States and an ally to all peaceful protesters. Just so you know, Donald, and I say this to every basic attention-seeking cockweasel on social media, if you have to tell people you're an ally, chances are you're not. Trump also further shocked no one by really putting his hand on the back of the head of the nation as he skull-fucked it by stating that the economy was coming back like a rocket ship, and that made it a great day for George Floyd. As if George Floyd, the man who was murdered in the street by a veteran police officer suffocating him for 9 minutes while he screamed for his life, could give a shit about the economy. Donald Trump, I know it's not news, but you are a graceless, fascist, demented, bloated toad of a human. You know when even the evangelical Christians are backing away, you fucked up. Breathe in and fuck off. Oh, I like this one. Everyone's favourite dinner guest, vegans, have come under fire for using the hashtag Animal Lives Matter in conjunction with Black Lives Matter. I am currently rolling my eyes so hard it was heard in Jakarta as distant thunder. Now, I'm aware that the way we treat animals and factory farming are cruel, unsustainable and damaging for the planet, but now is not the time! Jesus! Well done, vegans. You've outdone yourselves. You've ruined dinner parties, barbecues, children's birthdays, but my goddess, only a vegan could bring the mood down at a race riot. Breathe in and fuck off. Australia, home of the emu, the gumnut, Kylie Minogue, and so much colonial trauma, also Danny Minogue, has outdone itself yet again. After most states allowed the Black Lives Matter protests or gave them special dispensation, Melbourne police are now fining the organisers in a move so petty, Tom Petty is suing them for stolen intellectual property. Also, in a move so tone-deaf it could have been written by Beethoven, because he was deaf, you see. It's a very clever joke. Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, a man so nondescript and lacking in charisma, a man so white he looks like his name should be Scott Morrison, has launched a $25,000 home renovations grant for anyone who earns under $120,000 but is completing a $150,000 home renovation. Finally, a solution to the horrendous, unimaginable and practically Dickensian poverty of earning less than $120K a year and only having $125K to spare on a home renovation. Finally, the government is really listening to the people and giving them what they so desperately need in the throes of a global pandemic and a worldwide re-evaluation of race relations. New bench tops. Fuck. This money could have gone to anything. It could have gone to health, COVID research for a vaccine, to compensations for any of the 432 families of First Nations people who have died in police custody, to creating an independent body to oversee police reform, to community support or legal support for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, or even to, here's just an idea, off the top of my head, the arts! But instead, it's going to all the Grahams and Helens in Bronte, Balmain and Baldwin who can finally add that much-needed gift-wrapping room, a home cinema that shows only Nora Ephron movies, and an Aesop-inspired B-day that squirts your asshole with parsley seed, chamomile and pure smug. Thank you, Scott Morrison. Breathe in and fuck off. Bronwyn Bishop and Tony Abbott, the Fred and Rose West of Australian politics, are to receive awards in this year's Queen's Birthday Honours, with Tony Abbott, a renowned racist, misogynist and hypocritical fuckstick, to be recognised for his contribution to border control and the Indigenous community, which is a little like honouring Jack the Ripper for his services to women. More proof that the monarchy is irrelevant, Australian politics is fucked, and alcohol and Valium are no longer packing the punch they're used to. It's time to move on to Thorazine. Or if anyone has some of that stuff they used to trank elephants with, I would like a monthly subscription. Breathe in and fuck off. Now, one sec. Now there could be so many more breathe in and fuck offs this week. Honestly, they could. They could go on for days, longer than my therapist's to-do list. So long. I mean, if you laid out every footballer in the Australian Football League on the grass end to end, I'd probably fuck them. But we need to view some, so that's my hemorrhoid, but we need to view some good in the world. So charge your glasses and let's get started. There we go. Lovely. In Bristol, protesters tore down a statue of 17th century slave trader Edward Colston that has been standing there since 1895. Defenders of the statue state that Colston was a known philanthropist, but that doesn't really help when the reason he was wealthy enough to be a philanthropist was because he traded slaves. Protesters toppled the statue, rolled it into the River Avon, where Google Maps has saucily updated its location and its opening hours to closed permanently. Congrats to the protesters of Bristol who numbered over 10,000 at the weekend. Cheers. That's dribbled everywhere. Don't worry, it's drip dry. Minneapolis has arrested the 4 officers who murdered George Floyd and raised the charges from third-degree murder. And in a shock move, the Minneapolis City Council has pledged to disband the city's police department. Lisa Bender, the Minneapolis City Council president, said, "Our efforts at incremental reform have failed, period. Our commitment is to do what's necessary to keep every single member of our community safe. And, to tell the truth, the Minneapolis police are not doing that. Our commitment is to end policing as we know it and to recreate systems of public safety that actually keep us safe." This would have been unimaginable just weeks ago, but this is exactly what we need. Now, will it be perfect first time around? No. Is it going to face massive criticism? Yes. But is it an incredible and fearless step in the right direction? Absolutely. Cheers. In Bern, Switzerland, as restrictions ease, much to the relief of all the truculent bankers of the world, brothels are finally being allowed to reopen, with a bunch of new spicy social distancing regulations. According to the new regulations, only positions where the transmission of droplets are low are allowed, which means separate rooms, or perhaps through a sheet, which will thrill the Orthodox Jewish community of Switzerland, who are just happy to take a break from asking for their art and property back. Positions that are allowed include doggy style and reverse cowgirl, or the ever-popular "don't look at me, don't look at me." My favourite position is the "is it over yet?" At the end you know it's over when I stop crying. Also, new regulations are stating that sheets must be washed between each client, which has given us all the slow burning realization that they weren't washed before, which has led to another slow burning realization. But that's why we have penicillin. Where possible, masks must be worn and anal practices will only take place with gloves, which has led to widespread celebration in the medical fetish community. But I think we all know most things are widespread in that particular group of people. So, to the sex workers in Switzerland and their much relieved patrons, cheers, Prost, salut and santé. Oh, who needs tonsils? And come back to earth, back in the room. And now we're done for the week. Look, it's been a huge and heavy time, and it's far from over yet. This movement has unified the planet, and it might not have happened without COVID-19 keeping us at home, glued to our computer screens, our phones, and TVs. Black Lives Matter protests happened in almost every country, and it has become a global movement, the largest political movement we have seen as a planet. That is a huge concept, and in the flesh, tens of thousands of protesters in each and every city. And it's thanks to you people at home, who not only shared posts, but marched, wrote signs, donated, wrote letters, or just helped, listened, and held people. This week, you have all done your part. Also this week, if you want to donate again, we are continuing the donation links from last week. So there are the following US organizations: the Bail Project, the Black Visions Collective, Reclaim the Block, North Star Health Collective, the Minnesota Freedom Fund, George Floyd's Memorial Fund, and of course Black Lives Matter. And in Australia, there are links to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Healing Foundation, Pay the Rent, and the Victorian Aboriginal the Victorian Aboriginal Legal Services. I would also ask you to look up Warriors of the Aboriginal Resistance as well. This is a time for us to band together and keep fighting. Change is possible. change is inevitable. So be that change. In the words of Eliezer Yudkowsky, you are personally responsible for becoming more ethical than the society you grew up in. And in the words of my mother, I don't know whose child that is. Put it back in the pool and bring me another Mai Tai, bitch. You've been watching Unwind, and I've been needing to use the bathroom. Until now.
Oh please, Mother Teresa never used birth control. Welcome to my downward spiral. Wouldn't it be nice to be in a coma through this? I'm an actress, a singer, and an award-winning cry for help. Heterosexuality's not a thing anymore. I'm the embodiment of gay culture. This is the new normal.